Cool. So, when we think about gill development, we always hear about boar exposure, right? And so, in your mind, what is a good boar exposure?
So I think this is where you have to really go back to the basics. The data really shows a lot of differences between full contact and fence line boar exposure. So when we're talking about stimulating a gilt to come into puberty, that's very different than trying to stimulate a post-wean sow to express heat. So for boar exposure in puberty attainment, we want to find full contact boar exposure. So we want the gilts to be exposed to a boar for about 15 minutes per day.
Okay.
That's a long amount of time, actually, for every individual gilt in a pen at the GDU to receive full exposure to the boar. The folks up in Canada have done a lot of work looking at bringing the boar to the gilts versus the gilts to the boar, and found that it was advanced puberty or easier to detect pigs in estrus if we moved the gilts to the boar. So that's called the bear method. But that can be really hard from a management perspective to have the space and all of that to do those types of things depending on the GDU and the facilities.
Right.
The other thing to consider in boar exposure is that continual exposure could be bad. So gilts kind of become habitual to a boar if he's housed in an adjacent pen. So then that can delay puberty as well. So individual pig, full contact, 15 minutes a day is best.